Good afternoon and welcome to All Saints Church in Bradbourne in Derbyshire. I'm heading in the right direction now, I'm heading south. But today we are here to visit the final resting place of an actor that really came to prominence in the 60s. And that is Sir Alan Bates. Yes, Alan Bates, he was in things like Whistle Down the Wind. There was a few other films he was in. He did a lot of stuff on stage and a lot of stuff on television actually. But it's only really people of my kind of generation, maybe even older than myself, that will really remember him, even though he only died in 2003. But anyway, it's a beautiful little church and it's pouring down with rain, that's why I'm hiding under a tree at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll turn you around, show you around this lovely little cemetery or churchyard, while I'll tell you a little bit about Sir Alan Bates.
Bates was born at the Queen Mary Nursing Home, Darley Abbey, Derby, England on the 17th of February 1934, the eldest of three boys born to Florence Mary Nee Wheatcroft, a housewife and a pianist, and Harold Arthur Bates, an insurance broker and a cellist. They lived in Eller Street, Derby at the time of Bates' birth, but briefly moved to Mickleover before returning to Eller Street. Both parents were amateur musicians who encouraged Bates to pursue music. However, by the age of 11, having decided to become an actor, he studied drama instead. Bates was educated at the Herbert Strutt Grammar School, Derby Road, Belper, Derbyshire, and later gained a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, where he studied with Albert Finney and Peter O'Toole, before leaving to join the RAF for national service at RAF Newton. Bates's stage debut was in 1955 in You and Your Wife in Coventry. In 1956 he made his West End debut as Cliff in Look Back in Anger, a role he had originated at the Royal Court and which made him a star. He also played the role on television and on Broadway. He was also a member of the 1967 acting company at the Stratford Festival in Canada, playing the title role in Richard III. Bates made his feature film debut in The Entertainer 1960 opposite Laurence Olivier, his first film role. Bates worked for the Padded Wagon Moving Company in the early 1960s while acting at the Circle in the Square Theatre in New York City. Bates played the lead in his second feature, Whistle Down the Wind 1961, directed by Brian Forbes. He followed it with the lead in A King of Loving 1962, directed by John Schlesinger. Both films were very popular, establishing Bates as a film star. Film critics cited the 1963 film noir The Running Man as being one of Alan Bates' finest performances. The film starred Lawrence Harvey, Lee Remick and Bates in the supporting role of Stephen Maddox as insurance company investigator who encounters Harvey and Remick in Spain after Harvey successfully faked his death in an aeroplane crash to cash in on a life insurance policy, leaving wife Lee Remick a small fortune. Bates went into an adaptation of Harold Pinter's The Caretaker 1963 with Donald Pleasance and Robert Shaw. It was directed by Clive Donner, who then made Nothing But the Best 1964 with Bates. He supported Anthony Quinn in Zorba the Greek 1964 and James Mason in Georgie Girl 1966. Bates was reunited with Schlesinger in Far From the Madding Crowd in 1967, starring Julie Christie, then did the Bernard Malamud film The Fixer 1968, which earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. In 1969 he starred in Women in Love with Oliver Reed and Glenda Jackson, in which Bates and Reed wrestled naked. He followed it appearing as Colonel Vershinin in the National Theatre's film The Three Sisters, co-starring Laurence Olivier. Bates was hand-picked by director John Schlesinger to play the starring role of Dr. Daniel Hirsch in the film Sunday Bloody Sunday 1971 and The Go-Between, also 1971. Bates starred in the film A Day in the Death of Joe Egg 1972 and produced and appeared in a short Second Best 1972. He starred in The Story of Love 1973, Butley 1974 and In Celebration 1975. He was a villain in Royal Flash 1975 and appeared on television in plays for the Today and the Laurence Olivier Presents version of Harold Pinter's The Collection 1976. Bates starred in the TV movie Piccadilly Circus 1977 and The Mayor at Casterbridge 1978. In the latter he played Michael Henchard, the ultimately disgraced lead, which he described as his favourite role. He starred in such international films as The Unmarried Woman 1978 and Nijinsky 1980, and also played Betty Midler's ruthless business manager in the film The Rose 1979. He was also in The Shout 1979 and Very Like a Whale 1980. He played two dramatically opposite roles in An Englishman Abroad 1983 as Guy Burgess, a member of the Cambridge spy ring exiled in Moscow, and in Pack of Lies 1987 as a British Secret Service agent tracking several Soviet spies. Bates was made a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE, in 1996 and was knighted in 2003, and was a patron of the Actors Centre, Covent Garden, London from 1994 until his death in 2003. Bates was married to actress Victoria Ward from 1970 until her death from a heart attack in 1992, although they had separated many years earlier. They had twin sons born in November 1970, the actors Benedict Bates and Tristan Bates. Tristan died following an asthma attack in Tokyo in 1990. Bates had numerous gay relationships, including those with actor Nicholas Grace and Olympic skater John Curry. In the later years of his life, Bates had a relationship with the Welsh actress Angharad Rees. Bates died of pancreatic cancer in December 2003 after going into a coma. He is buried at All Saints Church, Bradbourne in Derbyshire, which is where we are today.
Well, that's all the information I could get on Alan Bates. Right, his final resting place is just here in front of me, so I'll turn you around, and as per usual we'll go and have a look at this together, but these ones are unusual. Right, it's just down here. I'll turn it round so you get a better view. This is the final resting place of Sir Alan Bates. In loving memory of Sir Alan Bates, CBE actor, 1934 to 2004. Husband to Victoria, father to Benedict, and trust much admired, sadly missed. And then you got Victoria Bates, mother of Tristan and Benedict, so that would be Alan's, wife of Alan. You could not be in his presence an hour without the sense that you had as good a thing as is made. And this is the thing for his wife, Victoria Valerie June Ward Bates, 1940 to 1992. His whole family's here. His son Tristan Bates, 1970 to 1990. For he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royal. And Tristan Bates, brother of Benedict, son of Alan and Victoria. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. I'm going to have to squeeze between two other graves. But this one right in front of us is the final resting place of Sir Alan Bates. And the one there to the left is his son, Tristan. As you see, very unusual graves. They've actually written them on plaques on the grave because the grave itself is actually made of stone. It's probably going to wear out too quick. But that's the final resting place of Sir Alan Bates, his wife and his son. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, then maybe consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I release a new video. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.